Hey everyone, welcome to another Wizards Unite video, and today we're going to talk about some Aura skills as a recently converted part-time Aura. My main is still Magologist, but I play Aura from time to time, just have some fun. I actually do like the Aura's active skills a lot. It's probably one of the most fun to play, as from the standpoint of just player enjoyment. Aura has to be one of the more funner professions, especially compared to Magologist. Magologist, especially if you're playing solo, not the most fun profession out there, right? Like, the skills are really limited that you could use on yourself for the most part. And let's talk about those skills. So today, the main skill I'm going to talk about is the Confusion Hex from the Aura. It seems to be that there's been a lot of confusion about the Confusion Hex among folks and Auras, even people who play with Auras, Magologists and professors, that I've seen a lot of people using this skill wrong, which it's okay, but it would be better if folks knew where to actually apply these, as it would save a lot of focus that you could either then use on, say, weakening hacks to lower some incoming damage for yourself if you're playing solo, or the Magologist you're playing with, so the Magologist doesn't die. Or you could just give out some charm to your professor to throw down deterioration hexes, put out a proficiency charm or whatever. So yeah, basically I'm gonna kind of explain how the Confusion Hex works, and it doesn't work for all opponents. So anyways, first of all, let's get into the basics of Confusion Hex. So Confusion Hex, if you open up the Aura expertise menu, it's the fourth skill from the left. So the last skill over there, the one with the icon with the wizard screaming like this, ah! Well, they're not really screaming, but it looks like they're screaming in a lot of pain, right? So that's the one we're looking at. And when you first unlock it, what it does is, and if you open it up, it says, impair a foe by lowering their dodge, defense, and defense breach. So when you first unlock the first node for it, you get impair for defense minus 20%, impair for dodge minus 20%, impair foe defense breach by 20% as well. So it's doing a lot of things here. And it may not seem too much at first glance, but it is probably Aura's strongest skill in its whole set. Definitely better than the Weakness Hex and Bat Bogey Hex. It's hard to say which one's better, Focus Charm or Confusion Hex. I personally prefer Confusion Hex a bit more, even though I play in a group. It's just that Focus Charm, it could essentially get replaced by Invigoration draws, right? So Confusion Hex, I think, is probably the strongest active skill for Auras. So let's go over that. So at level 1, it's 20% minus for defense, dodge, and defense breach. And then it has 5 levels in total, so when you max it out, it's going to be 60%. I think each level up, it gains 10%. So you're gonna have a total of, you need 4 level ups, other than the first free one, to max it out. That's what, 16 green bucks? So you basically need one full brilliant event and plus 1 more extra green book to max it out. So that's not terribly hard to max out, so it's quite worth it, as you would see in a bit as why you should probably max it out. So anyways, I'm gonna pull up the stats here. So not all enemies have defense, defense breach, and dodge. Only there's, so far in the game, 6 types of enemies and fortresses, which is the only place you could actually use these skills. These 6 different types. You got the ones that Auras are proficient against. You got the Dark Wizards, you got Death Eaters, and then the ones that Magologists are proficient against. You got the Acromantulas and Urklings, and then the ones that Professors are good against, which are the Werewolves and the Pixies. So basically, of the 6 of these opponents, 2 of them are not affected by this hex at all. And the other 4 are affected greatly by this hex. So the 2 that you should never ever use this hex on are Death Eaters and Acromantulas. They don't have defense at all. They don't have defense breach. They don't have dodge whatsoever. So it's all 0% for them, so you don't have to worry about them. Never, ever use this hex on them. If you really gotta use something, just throw a weakness hex on them, especially on Acromantulas. You would probably always want a weakness hex on them, unless your aura is at, or not aura, the Magologist on your team fighting it is at 100% defense, and probably you don't need that. But in most case scenarios, you probably want to throw a weakness hex on a Acromantula, but never ever use confusion hex on them. So now that leaves us Dark Wizards, Werewolves, Pixies, and Urklings. These are the 4 that you actually do need to throw confusion hexes on, and for different reasons. And there are different degrees of levels that you have to put on them. There are different, obviously, for those of you who play the game probably know, there's different types of foes. There's like commons, there's elites, formidables, imposing, dangerous, fierce, all that stuff. And they are actually quite different in terms of the degree of their defense breach, and dodge percentages. So let's go over those, and you know, you should plan your confusion hex accordingly. You know which level your confusion hex is at. So for commons, none of them have defense breach, dodge at all. So even if they're a werewolf, even if they're a dark wizard, Urkling, pixies, if they're a common, even if they're an elite common, they don't have any of those, so don't worry about them. So when you have to start worrying about them is when they start coming out at formidables. So formidable and elite formidable, these have the same values. All the elite ones have the same values in terms of defense breach, and dodge. So I won't say it twice. So when I'm saying formidable, I also mean elite formidable, imposing, elite imposing. So for formidables, the defense on werewolves and dark wizards, and before I get into that, werewolves and dark wizards, they have defense, and they have defense, and then for defense breach, werewolves and dark wizards have them as well. So these two are the defense and defense breach guys, and then the dodge is only for Urkling and Pixie. And for those of you who don't know what defense breach is, I actually had a friend ask me about, about what defense breach was the other day. Defense breach is just the percentage that they basically bite through your defense. So if they have like a 10% defense breach, they just ignore 10% of your defense. So there's that. Anyways, for werewolves and dark wizards at formidable, they have a 5% defense. For imposings, werewolves actually have 25% defense, and dark wizards have 15% defense. So for formidables, a level 1 confusion hex covers it. For imposing, a level 1 covers it for dark wizards, but not werewolves. There's still 5% defense they have, so you probably need a level 2 confusion hex to cover that one. And then for dangerous, werewolves and dark wizards, werewolves have 40%. Wow, that's a lot of defense. And dark wizards have 30%. So for dangerous dark wizards, you'll need level 2 confusion hex, and for dangerous werewolves, you'll need level 3 confusion hex. And then for fierce werewolves have 60% defense, so that you'll need max level over there, which is what, level 5 confusion hex for fierce and elite fierce werewolves. And then for dark wizards, it's 50%, so you'll need what, level 4 confusion over there. As for defense breach, actually commons, both commons and formidables don't have any defense breach at all. And as we saw in the previous column, usually werewolves had higher defense than dark wizards, but on defense breach it's the other way around. Actually, dark wizards usually have more defense breach than the werewolves. So they actually start from imposing. So for imposing, werewolves, well actually werewolves, imposing, they still don't have any defense breach. Although elite, or not elite imposing, dark wizards do have a 10% defense breach, which can be easily handled with a level 1 confusion hex there, so we don't have to worry about that one. And then moving on to the next grade, the Dangerous. Dangerous Werewolves have a 10% defense breach, and Dangerous Dark Wizards have a 20% defense breach. So this level 1 Confusion Hex still covers all of this, so don't have to worry about that. The one where you probably have to level up your Confusion Hex is against Fierce and Elite Fierce. And the defense breach for Werewolves for Fierce is 30%, so you'll need a level 2 Confusion Hex for that. Dark Wizard is 40%, you'll need level 3 Confusion Hex for that. And then, yep, that's for the Werewolves and Dark Wizards. Moving on to Dodge, which is for Urkling and Pixies. Dodge, they have all the same rates. So for Commons and Elite Commons, they have no Dodge at all. So they start getting Dodge at Formidable. So Formidable, they have a 5% Dodge, so at level 1. Confusion Hex covers that. Imposing, they're both level 20, or not level 25, 25%, so a level 2 Confusion Hex will cover that. Dangerous, they're at 40%, that's what, level 4? Or no, level 3 Confusion Hex could cover that dodge. And then for Fierce, it's 60%, so you'll need a max level 5 Confusion Hex to cover the dodge on Urkling and Pixies. So anyways, that's the whole table for the Confusion Hex levels and how much percentages each of these opponents have for their stats to make your Confusion Hex actually useful. So yeah, just remember, if you can't really remember all these stats, just like me, I have terrible memory. I could read them off a chart. You know, when you pop quiz me on them, sometimes I can't remember all the numbers. Just try and level up your Confusion Hex to the max, and then just remember to put it on everyone except for Acromantulas and Death Eaters. So yeah, that's pretty simple, I guess. So yep, that's all we got for this video, just going over the Confusion Hex and the enemies it works on, the enemies it doesn't work on, just to make your focus use a bit more efficient and not waste them on stuff that you know, well, just not waste them then, I guess. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Let me know in the comments down below what level your Confusion Hex is. My friend, the person who is in our group, who's an Aura, I think it's at there's at level 4, should have that one maxed out next Brilliant event, so that should be fun. And yeah, subscribe to our news channel for some more Wizards Unite content in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next one.